Now, just a little loveliness from Gerry Potter. The day an innocent ate my mum. Ever felt so light you outshine the sun? Run so fast you leave the wind behind? Colourful as the firework display on an artist's palette? Ever felt so something that you can outdo everything? I did. It's Thursday week. Some people say a week on Thursday. Well, it doesn't bother me. They speak. Honestly, people can say what they want to say. I'm not the speak police. Anyway, it's Thursday week and the world's falling to pieces. And that's when it happened. The impossible happened. Honest to God, the impossible happened. That was the day an innocent ate my mum. It was all so fast. He was blonde, kiss curls cascading like ivy, honey ivy, not green, the height of summer, and yet butter wouldn't melt. Nico sung his eyes while Aesop told his soul. He was spun singing gold and magical. He was trilling tunes of merry-go-rounds and robins, spinning spiders' webs from gossamer grey to candy floss. The innocent, well boss, bosser than dogs. It was Thursday week. I know, because that's when Mum gets her family allowance. She was angry, oh, so angry. Thinks I don't know, I do know. She was late for her script. Methadone had run out. She was all she was all a fluster and blaming me. There was even a smack. Yeah, well, it didn't hurt. Well, even if it did, it didn't. Another reason I knew it was Thursday, you see, it only happens Thursday, every Thursday week. She was calling my Nan for everything. Of course, I was no good. I was never any good. I just got in the way. Nan would have called her stupid and bought me a toy. Love my Nan. Hate that day. Every Thursday week, Nan's the better mum. Mum says she's like me, always nagging, getting her own way. So, I was looking in the Sparks window, looking a bit beyond it, and that's when I saw him. Almost as if he stepped from it. I called him the innocent because I didn't know his name. It was Thursday. It was Sparks' shoe shop, the kind of shop people called Geoffrey use. Thursday week, you see, it's the only time we're there. It was full of spoonies and wedges, platforms and kickers. Time hadn't stopped in Sparks. It was just slowly walking, almost stalking. The innocent was smiling and talking to me in kid. He said, "Eat your mum." And honest to God, no word of a lie, crossed my heart and hope to die. Hair turned to rat's tails, flailing, lashing, skin started to scale, green with purple freckles. His bee-stung lips burning berry red, skin like leather and a mouth that dripped blood. It went shark wide to Tyrannosaurus, snarling, drooling, gnashing. No one but me saw us. There was such a roar it could deafen Big Ben. or foghorns down the docks, and no one could hear us. His eyes became the size of saucers, flying saucers, raging, flying tyrannosaucers, shooting real, live laser beams, realer than dinosaurs and planes. Mum was scraping skies, the rails, kicking off about that stupid doctor again. She calls the doctor crap, but he's a nice doctor who pats my head, always gives me a lollipop. It's really doing my head in. I hate her when she does that. Love lollipops, though. If she's angry, I might not get my lollipop. Now, the innocent said. I nodded back. And with one snap of his powerful mouth, he went and ate her head. The piece was louder than Big Ben and the foghorns, and I lay on the pavement, soaking up the sun. The innocent was chewing on my mum, chewing her like gum. He kissed my forehead. You deserve a rest. And you know, just for a moment, I was outshining the sun, leaving the wind behind, painting my own firework display without the crash and bang. At last, I was outdoing everything. The innocent lay beside me. We giggled about farts. He said I could have her back whenever I want. I said, never on Thursdays, especially Thursday week, because that's when all the fun stops and the end of the world starts. Now, as it's this time of the year, here's a little bit of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I sat one evening in my laboratory. The sun had set, and the moon was just rising from the sea. I had not sufficient light for my employment, and I remained idle in a pause of consideration of whether I should leave my labour for the night or hasten its conclusion by an unremitting attention to it. As I sat, a train of reflection occurred to me, which led me to consider the effects of what I was now doing. 3 years before, I was engaged in the same manner and had created a fiend whose unparalleled barbarity had desolated my heart and filled it forever with the bitterest remorse. I was now about to form another being, of whose dispositions I was alike ignorant. She might become 10,000 times more malignant than her mate, and delight for its own sake in murder and wretchedness. He had sworn to quit the neighbourhood of man and hide himself in deserts, but she had not. And she, who in all probability was to become a thinking and reasoning animal, might refuse to comply with a pact made before her creation. They might even hate each other. The creature who already lived loathed his own deformity, and might he not conceive a greater abhorrence for it when it came before his eyes in the female form? she might also turn with disgust from him to the superior beauty of man. She might quit him, and he be again alone, exasperated by the fresh provocation of being deserted by one of his own species. Even if they were to leave Europe and inhabit the deserts of the New World, yet one of the first results of those sympathies for which the demon thirsted would be children, and a race of devils would be propagated upon the earth, precarious and full of terror. Right, for my own benefit, to inflict this curse upon everlasting generations. I had before been moved by the sophisms of the being I had created. I had been struck senseless by his fiendish threats. But now, for the first time, the wickedness of my promise burst upon me. Future ages might curse me as their pest, whose selfishness had not hesitated to buy its own peace at the price, perhaps, of the existence of the whole human race. I trembled, and my heart failed within me, when, on looking up, I saw by the light of the moon the demon at the casement. A ghastly grin wrinkled his lips as he gazed upon me, where I sat fulfilling the task which he had allotted to me. Yes, he had followed me in my travels. He had loitered in forests, hid himself in caves, or taken refuge in wide and desert heaths. And he now came to mark my progress and claim the fulfillment of my promise. As I looked upon him, his countenance expressed the utmost extent of malice and treachery. Tore to pieces the thing upon which I was engaged. The wretch saw me destroy the creature on whose future existence he depended for happiness, and with a howl of devilish despair and revenge, he withdrew. I left the room, and locking the door, made a solemn vow in my own heart never to resume my labours. And then, with trembling steps, I sought my own apartment. I was alone. None were near me to dissipate the gloom and relieve me from the sickening oppression of the most terrible reveries. Several hours passed, and I remained near my window, gazing on the sea. It was almost motionless, for the winds were hushed, and all nature reposed under the eye of the quiet moon. A few fishing vessels alone specked the water, and now and then the gentle breeze wafted the sound of voices as the fishermen called to each other. I felt the silence, although I was hardly conscious of its extreme profundity, until my ear was suddenly arrested by the paddling of oars near the shore, and a person landed close to my house. In a few minutes after, I heard the creaking of my door, as if someone endeavoured to open it softly. I trembled from head to foot. I felt a presentiment of who it was, and wished to arouse one of the peasants who dwelt in a cottage not far from mine. But I was overcome by the sensation of helplessness so often felt in frightful dreams, when you in vain endeavour to fly from an impending danger, and was rooted to the spot. Presently, I heard the sound of footsteps along the passage. The door opened, and the wretch whom I dreaded appeared. Shutting the door, he approached me and said in a smothered voice, "You have destroyed the work which you began. What is it that you intend? Do you dare to break your promise? I have endured toil and misery. I left Switzerland with you. I crept along the shores of the Rhine, among its willow islands and over the summits of its hills. I have dwelt many months in the heat, fatigue and cold and hunger. Do you dare to destroy my hopes? Begone! I do break my promise. Never will I create another like yourself, equal in deformity and wickedness. Slave! I before reasoned with you, but you have proved yourself unworthy of my condescension. Have power. You believe yourself miserable, but I can make you so wretched that the light of day will be hateful to you. You are my creator, but I am your master. Obey. The hour of my irresolution is past, and the period of your power is arrived. Your threats cannot move me to do an act of wickedness, but they confirm me in a determination of not creating a companion in vice. Shall I, in cool blood, set loose upon the earth a demon whose delight is in death and wretchedness? Begone, I'm firm, and your words will only exasperate my rage." The monster saw my determination in my face, gnashed his teeth in the impotence of anger. "Shall each man," cried he, "find a wife for his bosom, and each beast have his mate, and I remain alone? I had feelings of affection, and they were requited by detestation and scorn. Man, you may hate, but beware. Your hours will pass in dread. You can blast my other passions, but revenge remains. Revenge, light or food. I may die, but first you, my tyrant and tormentor, shall curse the sun that gazes on your misery. Beware, powerful. I will watch with the wiliness of a snake, that I may sting with its venom. Man, you shall repent of the injuries you inflict. Devil, cease, and do not poison the air with these sounds of malice. I have declared my resolution to you, and I am no coward to bend beneath words. Leave me, I am inexorable." "It is well, I go, but remember, I shall be with you on your wedding night." Well, after all, it is Halloween.